Hey folks, Wes here. I'm back this week with another crafting video. Today we're going to be going over rings as promised. Rings are a little bit more complicated than the glove craft that I did last week, but much more customizable. And there's a lot more variance inside the rings. Basically, with the gloves, we could guarantee roughly 5 modifiers that we wanted, and then the 6th modifier was somewhat random. With rings, you're basically only guaranteeing 3 modifiers, and then your other 3 modifiers are somewhat random. So there's much higher variance, but these are much cheaper to craft. Anyway, let's get into it. Step 1 of the ring craft is buying the base. Now, this particular ring, we need 2 specific modifiers, and then we need 1 open prefix and 1 open suffix. So the modifiers we're looking for is tier 1 mana, and then either rarity or lightning damage in the prefix. And then for the suffixes, they don't matter. You just want 2 random suffixes. If you can have rarity, that's fine. But you need 1 open suffix as well. So 1 open prefix, 1 open suffix, and then tier 1 mana in the prefix, as well as either percent lightning damage or rarity in the prefix. And I'm going to post the search for this down below in the comments. In the pinned comment will be the search link for this, so you can just search for it immediately. I've been able to buy these between 20 exalt to 1 div, depending on how good the rolls are. So yeah, here's a bunch of the rings that I bought. You can see right now. Okay, as mentioned, this is step 1. We are searching for rarity ring, either one of the two, either rarity or lightning damage. We're using this much rarity to guarantee that there is both a prefix and a suffix, and we're hoping for good stuff there. We need 1 empty prefix modifier, 1 suffix modifier, and then we want max mana, so that is the max mana roll. And when we search, we got 42 results. There's 1 for 10 exalts, a couple for 10 exalts. So we're just going to buy those up real quick. We'll buy a couple just to showcase the ring in a few different facets here. As you can see. And then we'll buy one of the more expensive ones. Why not? 40 exalts, not too bad. We'll buy 3 rings total.
You definitely want that one, right?
All right. Those are the rings. For step 2, we're going to activate an Omen of Dextral Crystallization and then use a Perfect Essence of the Mind. What this will do, we'll target one of the 2 suffixes that we have and roll that suffix into the prefix with percent mana. That's the reason why we need an open prefix slot. So now the ring will have the prefixes done with either percent lightning damage or rarity, whichever one you wanted, and then tier 1 mana, and what we just added, the percent mana modifier. It'll look something like this. So step 2, after buying the ring, is utilizing the Omen of Dextral Crystallization and Perfect Essence of the Mind. What this will do, it will roll one of these 2 prefixes or suffixes into the prefix, and we will have rarity and then mana and then percent mana in our prefix, and we'll be left with 1 suffix. So it looks like this. There we go. So now we have 1 suffix on all these, and that's perfectly fine. And we'll move on to step 3. For step 3, we're going to replace our last random suffix with a Mark of the Abyssal Lord. To do this, we're going to activate another Omen of Dextral Crystallization, but this time we're going to use an Essence of the Abyss. What this will do is replace whatever random suffix modifier we have with the Mark of the Abyssal Lord, and after that, we can then immediately desecrate it, and we will have removed the random no good suffix modifier and now have a high chance to get a good resistance modifier on our desecration. It'll look something like this. For step 3, we're going to be adding the Essence of the Abyss. So once again, we're using Omen of Dextral Crystallization, and then we're just clicking on the Essence of the Abyss to the rings. This will remove the suffix here and replace it with Mark of the Abyssal Lord, and that'll look like this. sometimes it doesn't like to work on the first try, and you just have to like keep clicking on it until eventually it goes through. I don't know what that bug is. It's very strange to me. A very strange bug, but you just have to keep clicking and eventually it'll go through. I'm actually kind of glad that happened in this video because it's very weird. Anyway, that's step 3. For step 4, what we are doing is adding a preserved collarbone to desecrate the item, and then we're going and unveiling a resistance. We really want to find a resistance because the next step basically requires us to have at least one resistance in the suffix to be able to complete the suffixes easily. It's going to look something like this. For step 4, we're going to be desecrating the rings. The Mark of the Abyssal Lord guarantees that that will be what is desecrated, so we're just doing those. And as you can see, they're all suffix desecrates. And we're really hoping to find resistances on these to be able to continue. If you don't find a resistance, then you can just stop or use Omens of Light or something else. So we're just going to take basically whatever resistance we get. So Lightning and Chaos Res, perfectly fine. We're going to take that on this ring. And then on these other 2 rings, you know, we're hoping to find resistances as well. Now, for a caster ring, you might be thinking, well, don't you want cast speed? Cast speed's kind of hard to find. They're kind of hard to achieve. So we just take the easy route and get resistances. Resistances are good to have. So we just try to get resistances. Now, on this one, we didn't hit a resist, which is interesting. So we're just going to actually take intelligence or skill speed. If you take skill speed, then you can get cast speed, but this is a good example of it's not 100% to get a resist. So sometimes something like this can happen and you just kind of have to try to adjust from there. Skill speed is a good enough modifier, so we're going to take skill speed on this particular ring. And that is step 4. For step 5, we're going to finish our suffixes. This is a little convoluted, so stay with me here. First, we're going to add another elemental quality to the ring. This will either be fire or cold because it's cheapest and we're trying to keep our costs down. So we'll use either Toll's Catalyst or Zoph's Catalyst to add quality to the ring. Once the ring is qualitied up, we will then activate an Omen of Homogenizing Exaltation, an Omen of Greater Exaltation, and an Omen of Catalyzing Exaltation. So what this will do is it will choose one of the existing modifiers on the ring with the Homogenizing Exaltation. The Greater Exaltation will make it add 2 new modifiers, and then the Catalyzing Exaltation will hopefully consume, it will consume the catalyst on the ring, so the quality on the ring will be consumed, and it will hopefully add extra weight so that we can get that particular modifier on there. So if we added cold, it'll hopefully add both cold resistance and all elemental resistance. If we have fire, it'll hopefully add fire resistance and all elemental resistance. And if you really want lightning, I don't recommend it because lightning catalyst is quite expensive. Then you can use Esh's catalyst to add lightning, and then hopefully you'll get lightning resistance as well as all resistance. So with that, it'll look something like this. So step 5 is where a lot of variation can come in. What you need to do is you need to add cold modifier or fire modifier, whichever is cheaper. At the time of making this video, the cold mana modifier was cheaper to add. That is called Toll's Catalyst, and it adds cold quality to the ring, so it increases the cold modifier here. But we don't have any cold modifier on here. What we're actually using is we're trying to manipulate our odds of adding cold resistance and also adding all elemental resistance to our ring through the use of the Omen of Catalyzing Exaltation. The Omen of Catalyzing Exaltation will consume the quality on the ring to increase the chance of the corresponding modifier type. So cold is an elemental, and because we have lightning and chaos resist, that is resist, and that is also elemental. So hopefully when we use the homogenizing omen, it will direct the homogenizing omen to hit the elemental tag, and then it will add cold and it will add all elemental resist. This is not 100% guaranteed. This is still like a random thing that can happen. We're just trying to manipulate our odds to have the best chance to make a ring with full resistances here. So we're hoping to hit cold resist and all elemental resist. If you used fire quality, then you were hoping to hit fire resist and all elemental resist. And if you use lightning, obviously you're trying to hit like lightning and all elemental resist. So that's what that looks like. We're using graders because perfects are expensive, and we're just trying to make this ring cheap, just craft it cheap. So like I said, this has a lot of variance, so we'll just see what we get here. And we did hit our all elemental resist, and we hit our cold resist. So pretty much that's like the best case scenario for what we're trying to do here. We'll see on the second ring. What does the second ring hit? The second ring, as you can see, failed. It hit mana regen, which is fine, and mana per enemy killed, which is also still not terrible for us as a caster. And it also gives us a lot of mana modifiers now, so when we add mana quality back to this, it'll be fine. And then on this last ring, because we have skill speed, we can try to hit cast speed, because cast speed is the only other modifier in the suffix. So basically, same principle. We're trying to manipulate our odds to hit a modifier that we want, and the modifier that we want is cast speed. So skill speed shares the speed tag with cast speed, and hopefully we hit cast speed and then maybe like mana regen. So we'll just see right here. And indeed we did hit cast speed, but we also had leech as physical attack damage through mana, which is just bad. So this ring will need to like Omen of Light to try to fix, but we'll always probably have that leech tag, and that leech tag stinks. So this ring will need a lot of work to fix. It's probably not worth really pursuing trying to fix. But yeah, we got 2 rings which work for our caster, which is great. All right, for the final step, step 6, is just adding quality back to the ring. Because we use the catalyzing omen, it consumed all the quality off the ring. You can just add mana quality to the ring now and get a fully stacked mana ring. If you don't want to add mana and you want to use like lightning or fire to get your cold or whatever to get the resists up, then you can do that. But mana is really cheap, and mana works really well for the sorceress build that I've been doing. So on all my rings, I use mana quality, and it'll look something like this. It's called the neural catalyst is what you want to add to add mana quality. The final step of this process is to add neural catalyst. Neural catalyst adds mana quality to the ring, so it will boost up the increased mana and the maximum mana on this ring, and then on this ring it will increase the max mana, the percent max mana, the mana regen rate, and the mana per enemy killed. This ring's actually not too terrible, to be honest. Mana per enemy killed is okay. Mana regen is nice for us as a Stormweaver Sorc, and then the double mana is also good there. So yeah, those are the rings done. Not too bad of a craft. I think in total, probably like 1 to 2 div to craft, so not bad. Yeah, rings are done. And that's the whole ring craft, how you craft some really nice sorceress rings for fairly cheap. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. Trying to push the subscribers numbers up. If you have any questions, ask in the comments. I'm very active. I talk to literally every single person who comments, or if you have a question, I will at least try my best to answer. Next week, we'll be crafting focuses. We'll show you how to craft a focus. Focus is pretty straightforward from normal to rare. It is a very smooth process, pretty similar to the gloves in that it's like just straightforward. There's not a ton of variance in it, and it's really nice to craft. So look forward to the focus craft next week, and we'll see you then. Thanks everybody. Peace.